Hello everybody, welcome to another video. Hi, my name is Rodgon. I'm an artist and an illustrator, and today we are going to be learning a little bit about how I draw human faces, or faces in general. So I'm going to give you guys a couple different quick tips on how to go about drawing different head shapes so you guys can be a little bit better at them, and you guys can play around with different ideas, different concepts, and then you guys can get better and better at drawing the faces that you like to draw. And this can be applied to any style that you guys have, any style that you like, and it's just going to be like a basic construction tutorial on how to actually draw the human head. Or it can be demons, it could be angels, it could be monsters, it could be cyclops, it could be anything you guys want. So you guys can take these concepts and then apply them according to whatever you guys feel like you want to do. So let's start off with the very basics. I like to break down heads, especially in cartooning. I like to break down heads into two different categories. The one shape heads, which are essentially heads that are made out of a single basic shape. And then the two shape heads, which are heads made out of complex shapes. So it would be, two like circles, two spheres, or a box, or a sphere and a, and a diamond thingy or a cone, or maybe it's just literally two circles. I mean, it could be any of the shapes, really. It can be any shape you want. So we're going to try to break down these two types of head shapes. And if you guys want to add a little bit more into what you guys want to learn from these later on, then we will make a different video with strictly whatever you guys want to learn from there. But let me explain to you guys what these mean. At least let me break it down into the basics and in the way that I think, so you guys can understand them too. So what I mean by one shape head is that you can take this big circle, just circle in general, and then you can start adding elements to it and making a face. Right? Pretty nice and simple. And it can be as simple or as complex as you want. Let's make this into a very more complex shape. And it could be anything you want, like any style that like even comic book styles, animation styles, anime styles, they can all be applied to these type of head shapes. See, the level of detail doesn't change the fact that it's a one shape head. The same thing will apply to the box. It could be like something as simple as a guy with a flat top. As to, it can be anything really, but you get the idea. That one, this one, it could be just be the fact that the kid, it's like a kid with no jaw. So I'm like a more like gumpy looking kid. But you start getting the idea of what I mean by one head shape. the other shapes that I was like the two head shapes or the two shape heads are more of a complex like series of heads if you want to have a little bit more depth to the actual character. So in this case, you could use this as where the cheekbone hits. This could be the other side, and then you can start building it from there. This is kind of the way that I build my own individual like drawings of myself. If you guys follow me on Instagram, you guys can see that I tend to draw myself with like this little dip in the middle. And I like to call that the Elroy Jetson, because back when I was in animation school, that's what a teacher called it. So I just called it that from that point on. So you get a slightly more complicated head. If you start going into detail into these, you can start having a lot of fun with them. Maybe this is a really old guy, Like I said, it could be from anything, so super easy, complicated, or easy, complicated, whatever you guys want. These are just the ways that I break down heads and how I create my cartoons. And also, whenever you guys see like big collages like these and these, this is me like practicing the exercises that I'm showing you guys right now. It's just literally just me playing with different shapes and then just going crazy with it and seeing what I can come up with. I don't know what that one is, but you guys start getting an idea of how you can start coming up with really fun ideas. The next concept that I want to go with is how to like make a lot of different things out of that same head shape. And we're going to just make like one example for each, and then it'll apply to both of them pretty easily. So we're going to go with the one head shape. We're just going to go with the circle. And for the two head shape, we're going to go with a double circle. Just do it like that. Okay, so this will be the two shape head. That'll be the one head shape. And sorry for my scribbling because I suck at handwriting. So you guys have, probably seen how people like break down heads, and they always like, breaking down with like little lines that split them in the middle, and that's supposed to be like your guidelines for everything that goes on in the face. And that's awesome, but how do you make that, like, how do you make variations of that easier for you to understand? So if you want to make like a young kid or a fat person or something like that out of these, how do you like represent that with just this? I like to add one more little part to this little guideline in order to create that element. So instead of just breaking it down half and half, what I'm going to do is I'm going to determine what side my character is going to look at first. So that's going to be like the middle of the face. And in this case, let's make it the other way. And then from that point on, I'm going to determine like if the features are going to be really, really close together. And I normally break it down like that. You guys might be wondering what the hell this is, right? So this is going to indicate where the eyes go. I suck at spelling. Where the eyes, and this is going to indicate where the nose goes. Same thing with this. Eyes, nose. And as long as you keep them connected like this, you are able to play around with it a lot more. And it looks so weird. I know, guys, I'm sorry. Like, this is just like the way that it made sense in my head. But let me explain to you how it works. So in this case, we have, if we have it like this, this would be how the character gets broken down. The nose would be, give me a layer. The nose would be right here. The eyes would be around here. The mouth could be placed anywhere in between there and the bottom. And there you have the shape of your head. But that could also be broken down into even further. You can make the eyes a lot bigger. You know, so it gives you a lot of space to work with. It's not like a super strict rule that I set, you know, for this. It just normally like helps me like generalize where the things are going to be going. And then I go ahead and play around with that. Let's see with this one. If I may, you can make the eyes really small. The nose is going to be all the way down here, so the nose would be relatively big. And then you have all the detail. Mustaches for everybody. But you start seeing like how you can do that. Now, let's say that we switch that up a little bit. Let's say that we want to make this one like more of a kid rather than just like, you know, like a generic character. So we're going to set the middle. And when it comes down to kids, they tend to have really big features, but they're really, really squished against each other. So it would be like eye, nose, and then the triangle would be really small. Same thing with this one. If we wanted to make this one into a little kid, we'd have to set big eyes into a really small triangle because all the features are really, really squished together. And this is how it would turn out. You'd have like your eyes, which little kids have relatively big eyes compared to their heads. Let's just make it sparkly for super, super shiny. I'm gonna draw a little nose and we're gonna draw a mouth. And you start seeing how just simply changing that little like tiny amount of like playing around with the features, it changes the character so much. Same thing is gonna be happen here. Nose and the mouth. And then you just play around with the shape a little bit to make it look a little bit better. And now you have two little shapes that look like little kids. So the little like that just helps you like keep everything like aligned. Now if we wanted to take that same concept, let's erase all this. Okay, so we're gonna take this same concept that we just tried to do, and I'm gonna show you guys how it helps you when it comes down to actually making your characters like look similar from different angles. So we're gonna have this, and we're gonna have a profile side view, which is just generalizing here right now. So we have two similar shapes, and how we're going to be using that same technique to make the character look front and then look to the side and keep the retaining the same thing. So now we have the shapes, you know, similar shapes for both sides. So now we're going to establish that this one's going to be looking, let's just make it 3/4 side. Now it's completely to the front. 3/4. And this one's going to be a strict profile. So the side of the head would be right here. Okay. So now how do we take that same concept of establishing where everything is? How do we turn that to this? So essentially you could just draw a line and establish where both of these sides would be. So that would be roughly the same height as to where they would be, right? So in this one, we'll make it a little bit different. Let's make it a little higher. So we're just going to take that concept, and this is also an easy way to make turnarounds. When it comes down to like making that your character, like you'll like be able to see it from multiple sides. So now how do we turn this and this into an actual head? Like it looks so weird. It looks so offside, like it just looks different than a lot of ways that other people explain it. But like I said, this is how it made sense to me. So if you have your head and you already know exactly where your features are gonna be, so you have your features. Now you can take those same features, and as long as you understand how a head is made, you can just take those and you know it's going to be in that same area. So therefore you have your features already there. And you can start turning your character around. If he had ears, his ears would be like that. And then you can actually start going ahead with complicated characters and start doing that as well. Now let's do it with a slightly more detailed character, so you guys get an understanding of like how it would happen. Let's start with like some ears. I'm gonna give him a little bit of a recessed hairline, some eyebrows. We already know where the nose is gonna be, so let's change the nose up a little bit and make it pointing up a little bit. And then we'll just draw the mouth right here. Like you've noticed, like I don't really concern myself with the position of the mouth a lot, because that's the part of your body that actually moves the most. So it doesn't have to be completely accurate in every single pose. It's the one thing about your face that will switch constantly. They'll like, it won't stay in the same spot the whole time. So that's why I don't really concern myself with where the mouth is. Then I can actually go ahead and like play with mouth shapes all the time, and it's still going to look like the same character. It's just going to look like it has a different facial expression. So let's say we have this guy, right? And we're going to give him a mustache and a beard, because why not? So now how do we transfer that to this? We follow just the lines. Remember that the eyes are literally spheres, like we've learned in the other videos that I've made. And so therefore when you see it from the side, it's going to be a lot smaller. So it's going to look more like that. The eyes would be towards the front of the head, right? Because they wouldn't be towards the side so much. Maybe in this one I drew it too far to the side. So it'd be more like that. You carry where the nose is gonna be. You remember that the nose bridge carries outside, like it extrudes from the face. So it would be more like this. His hair would just carry over like that. His ear would be around here. His mouth would be around there. And it's not 100% accurate, but you understand, like, if you took the time to actually, like, measure everything out properly, and took the time to draw it and not just like try to rush it to finish a video, you'd start seeing that like you get pretty accurate results. There you go. I think he's a little chubbier. But you start seeing like how you can actually play around with this. It could be any character you want. It could be any. You can start getting really crazy too. Like if you really wanted to, you could just start like making random shapes. Let's just take this random shape, right? And then try to play around with that concept. So let's say we have one eye here, but we want the nose like all the way over here. So now you can actually create a character with that. So now we have a character that's gonna have a nose that's gonna extend way beyond the body. And then you can just start adding all the details. This is like a perfect way to practice different head shapes, different elements of the body, and so much and so forth. And let's see, we're gonna make him into like a gangster looking dude. Yeah, he's like B-Rabbit. Gonna be out there throwing some freestyling. But he's gonna be old, so we're gonna add some wrinkles and stuff. It's gonna be old G. Now we can get rid of this, and you start seeing like how just applying those little things helps you come up with a really, really fun like shape character for your drawings. You just need to know a little bit of anatomy, and you need to learn a little bit about perspective, and you'll be able to create with like some truly awesome stuff, you know, as long as you guys keep those little concepts into play. And this little quick tip ended up being a little bit longer than I expected, but hopefully it's still quicker than reading a book and like trying to find out a million different ways to do stuff like this. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys learned a little bit. If you guys did, hit that like button. If you guys didn't, just leave a comment with something that I could have done better. And if you guys like this sort of stuff, yeah, just check out some of my other videos and try to see if you learned something from me. And if you do, I would always love to hear from you guys. I'd love to see your artwork. Make sure to tag me on Instagram. I would love to see what you guys do if you guys learned something from me. But until then, I'll catch you guys next time, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Later. Whoa, that quick tip video was not as short as I thought it would be, but I hope you guys learned a little bit more from it. If you guys want to learn some more, click on the links to the left and to the right, check out some more of my videos, click in the middle if you guys want to follow me on Patreon, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Later.